Which industry prevail in your M&A deals of the former Troika, now Sberbank CIB?
Yes. Well, I think the key industries where we're seeing transaction right now is really the telecommunication industry, because with, as I mentioned briefly on the panel, with still internet penetration fairly low, there's a lot of consolidation work that we're expecting and that is going to happen. I think the oil and gas industry is obviously dominated right now by this one transaction, TNK-BP, and the shareholder change there. And I think what could happen going further is, of course, if there is a liberalization in the ownership of license, I think that will appeal to some other foreign investors, and some of the Arctic exploration challenges will actually be tackled in a more definitive way. Transportation infrastructure, I think, is a big topic that we actually didn't focus on that much on the panel, but the consolidation among regional airports, build out of the railway infrastructure, road infrastructure, I think are big industries to focus on going forward. And then retail and consumer is always an attractive sector because it doesn't have the strict sort of ownership and strategic law complications as some of the more strategic industries. So from that regard, that is an industry we're spending quite a bit of time on as well. Financial institutions, below Sberbank and VTB, the market is still very fragmented. So obviously some transactions are in the market at Nomos Bank, but there will be more to come in my view.
Well, thank you. That's fairly exciting. And the second question I have to you, as a lawyer, I should have asked that question. How often you use Russian law in your deals?
Yes. It's an interesting question. I was thinking about this while we were sitting there, and in fact, most transactions we work on actually go by English law, I must say. These are large transactions, even if they are not international transactions, like DenizBank obviously went by English law, but also among larger Russian players, very often we actually see English law being applied, certainly in most cases. There are some cases, I think, where it's a pure intra-Russian deal, where Russian law is in fact what is applicable, but we see it more and more.
More and more Russian law.
More and more English law.
English law.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, that's make me positive, because we're English law firm, so we probably should be very excited about it.
I think your prospects are very good there.
Yes, and the third question which I had to you, of course, the Troika dialogue was quite a brand on the market, and we all know Troika, we all saw how it's been developed. Now there's no longer Troika brand, it's now Sberbank CIB.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to reduce your business awareness or reduce your activities or somehow negatively impact your operation?
Actually, I think quite the contrary, because the rationale for the transaction was that we could combine a product and industry expertise with a client access and a balance sheet ability, which we didn't have before. So we're now an integrated business, corporate and investment banking, which benefits from the lending capability and the corporate client access that Sberbank has, which is quite honestly unrivaled. And so that is a real boost to the platform. So from that regard, I actually expect that the business reach of the old Troika dialogue, now Sberbank CIB, will be enhanced tremendously by that. And this specifically in line with what you've seen with the mergers of Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Citibank before, JP Morgan Chase. I mean, these are large, integrated, balance sheet-driven banks that offer investment banking services. So I think, therefore, this was the right transaction to have accomplished.